Hey everybody, it's Tuesday. It's 2 p.m. Eastern. Actually, right now for me and Brian, it's Friday, and it's like 12:39 Eastern. But we're pre-recording what is normally our live show because we didn't want to miss a week. But we are probably I'm probably on a plane at this point during the Tuesday of next week. You're probably just getting settled in.
I think I might have landed by now. Yeah.
We really talked about the idea of trying to do the live show from together in a hotel room, but it was just, it was too hard.
We would have had to flown in on Sunday
I don't
just
want
to
to do
make sure
that.
we're there.
I don't want to do that. No, that's not good. But we do have a good show for you guys this week. We put together a couple of new segments that we have also pre-recorded and are putting together. We're probably not going to do much in the way of news just because who knows what the news is. But we'll get caught up on the news next week. So this week we have two really cool segments. The first one we're calling The Secret Weapons of Comics Publishing. This is a short panel that we put together, a short segment of a longer podcast that we're going to be broadcasting later. And it will be my... it'll be my presentation, my contribution to
Panel?
ComicsPRO on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do a panel on Sunday with an editor, a letterer, and a production designer. The three people that every comic needs, and many publishers forget to hire.
God knows I hate correcting you, but I'm pretty sure it's Saturday.
Is it Saturday?
I think we'll be on planes on Sunday.
I think it is Saturday.
That's okay. That's okay. It's Saturday.
I'm just going to show up. I just show up, Brian. That's all I do.
I know. I was surprised to find myself on two panels, and apparently I'm on that one, so that'll be fun.
Oh, that's good. Which
have a good time.
Which panels are you doing?
I'm doing like a data one, which of course I am doing a data one on Friday, and then I'm doing this one with you, I think, on Saturday.
Oh, awesome. Excellent.
I believe.
Did she put you on that one too?
I think so, yeah.
Awesome. Well, good. We'll do it together. That'll be fun.
We'll treat it as a Comic Industry Insiders Live.
We have no idea.
I love it when I'm not the only one who's surprised.
We have no idea what we're doing. That's really the secret to all of this, is that we are making this up as we go along.
Dude, don't tell people the truth.
Listen. But they don't know if I'm just telling them that as a way of mitigating how bad we are at the things that we work really hard at. They don't know.
That's true. Why don't we, speaking of things that we work really hard at, why don't we pay some bills right now?
I like it. Let's do some CTAs, shall we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
First up is...
Oh, what is this?
Oh, I'm building this thing. So if you're watching this, it is probably time to go check out getcomicpreviews.com. Comic Previews is our replacement for Previews World. It's the one place where you're going to be able to find everything. And by now, I will have had at least one or two meetings with publishers to get even more stuff. Because my goal is to have 6-page previews like we did for Comics the Magazine, to have the latest data, to have the data available even before the distributors get it. So that if Adam wants to promote issue number 3 before it goes to Lunar, he can do it. So these are our goals. We really, really want to improve.
Have you seen the cover for issue 3 yet? It's so good.
I did. I saw it last night. It's so good.
Oh,
it's so good. I can't wait to let that one go. By the way, I just updated Comics the Magazine, the website, which we'll talk about in a moment, with issue 2. So,
love it.
But you can already find that on comicpreviews.com. So go check that out.
Awesome. What's our next one? Do we have another one? Is anybody controlling this? Is there any? Oh!
Negative Burn.
Dude, this one, I don't know if you've been following this. Negative Burn is, obviously it was an incredibly influential anthology back when you and I were really just getting started in comics, or even just reading comics. Joe Pruitt put this thing together back then, and it launched legit careers. The people who are running comics now started in Negative Burn. Anyway, he's relaunching Negative Burn right now on Zoop. It did so well, we had to extend it for another 2 weeks, and we're adding a whole bunch of original art and one-of-one prints and all this really cool stuff that when the creators saw what was happening, got really excited, wanted to contribute more. So jump in right now. Go to this, scan this QR code, pull your phone out of your pocket, scan that QR code, or go to zoop.com or zoop.gg. Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's zoop.gg. Anyway, and then go to negative burn. You put in zoop negative burn into your browser. That's going to bring this up. Yeah. Anyway, we've got another, as I'm talking about this, we had another 20 days. So that means I can't do math now, but that means you have probably 2 weeks to jump in. But keep checking in because we're going to keep putting new stuff up, and then it's going to go like that. So
yeah, it's great too because it already smashed its goals. So this is just an opportunity to get on it and support the thing.
And comics retailers, huge opportunities for you inside of this. We wanted to make sure that we customize this to fit you. And if there's some way that doesn't fit you, let us know. Joe Pruitt loves comics retailers. That guy is he might like you guys more than I do, which I don't know. Some days is easy. All right.
Oh, what's next before you bury yourself even more? Oh my gosh, you can see me at ComicsPRO February 20th to 22nd. You can see Adam as well. We're both going to have booths in the exhibitor hall on Thursday. And if you sign up at managecomics.com right now, I'm going to send you a very special invite to a little thing that I'm going to do. So sign up right now. Yeah.
Excellent. You know what? I did not put together a slide for this. We're going to be doing lots of stuff at ComicsPRO, including giving away Comics the Magazine #1. We're going to be filming stuff inside of our suite. So we're going to be doing some shorts. If you've ever wanted to be on the show and you want to come in, we would love to sit down and ask you a few questions. We might have some more time. We might go into longer ones. I don't know. But that we'll have that suite. We'll be giving away books where we'll be in the exhibit hall. I am doing the first presentation of the entire show, and I have something special planned. Brian, I don't know if you are even ready for what I have planned. I am certain nobody has ever done what I'm going to do for this.
I can only imagine.
Oh, if you're interested in Comics and Magazine and you're watching this and you have not signed up for the newsletter, please do. Hit that QR code or go to comicsthemagazine.com. By the time you watch this, it's probably a new site that I haven't seen because Brian does that, and he does that often without me knowing.
I just update stuff. You just whatever. Update no stuff. Big deal. Yeah.
At some point, we're going to have that issue 3 cover up, and it is hot.
I added the full solicit for issue 2, so people can find that there, and they can find out when the FOC dates and all that good stuff are as well.
Yeah. I love it. Awesome.
Yeah.
The Prana Bullets. We've been talking about that. I mean, if you're watching videos on the Hoova app, you probably have seen me talk about the Prana Bullet a few times today. I know I have. This is a weekly newsletter where we talk about the comic book industry. It is essentially like what we do with this live show, but like really much, much longer. So we get into all of the headlines that we think are going to affect your business or your career in comics. We get into the top 400. We give you a list of the top 400 single issue comics that are selling in comic shops right now, to a list of 500 stores. The cohort is so big. It's like, I don't know, it's like 50x the other people who say that they have this data. It is an incredibly dense operation. We give market share week to week. We give an update on all the things that are happening for the Prana clients. So definitely check those out, including FOCs and that sort of stuff. Scan the QR code. Have we said that yet enough? Scan the QR code or go to pranadm.com. That's PRANADM as in dogman.com. Awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Look at that.
Hey, I'm going to throw one last thing in.
Okay.
If you're at ComicsPRO right now and you're going to the auction on Friday night, I have decided to give away the gift of me. So if you are doing the auction, I am giving away a website in either Shopify or WooCommerce.
Okay.
Which I've done a boatload of those the last year, even though I say that I don't build websites anymore. But I've done them for places like Prana Direct Marketing Solution, Comics the Magazine, Ignition Press, Earth 519, the comic store. I know there's like, The Last Spartan. I did that one.
That's right.
There's like, I think I did 8 websites last year, and I don't do websites anymore. I'm retired from website building. So if you want to get, a top-notch website that is all SEO enabled and all those buzzwords, that auction is where you're going to do it, because I don't normally offer these things up anymore.
That's incredible. I love that. I tell you what, let's do one. I got one. We might cut this out. Blake, I haven't decided if we're going to keep this in yet. How about we do, for the auction, we do an episode of Comics Industry Insiders Live, right? It might not be in our regular Tuesday spot, but it'll be like you and me talking to a retailer or talking to a publisher or whomever or a creator. If you are one of those folks, we'll build an episode around you, right? We'll talk about your career. We'll talk about, we'll cut in maybe if it's your comic shop, we'll get a tour of your shop in there. Wouldn't that be fun? Let's do that.
That'd be super cool. You know what? And Blake, you can really cut this part out, but we will also build small segments that you can post on your socials as well.
That's really good. We'll make Blake do that. That's great. Look at what we did. That's awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, we know if Blake leaves this in, that means that we're auctioning it off. So it's
absolutely.
So there you go.
We'll find out on Tuesday.
2 things. So go to the auction because it does support Bink, which is an incredible charity that helps out comic shops, helps out bookstores. They are, I love Bink. I am so
absolutely
happy that Judy's going to be there. So
me too.
Awesome.
Me too.
All right.
Super excited.
Great. Oh, Blake, you coming in?
I will throw in services for Bink if you guys do it.
Let's do it. This is it. This is happening. You saw this live. Actually, it wasn't live, but we did this.
It's not live at all.
We did this recorded.
Blake, by services, do you just mean you're going to eat hot dogs on screen? Because I don't know that that's a service, man.
That's a service. It's fan service.
Services. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm ready to be serviced by Blake, but whatever. We'll get there.
All right. I hope everyone enjoys this episode.
Hello, welcome to The Final Cut, where we take a quick look at upcoming projects headed to final order cutoff. I'm your host, Keith Davidsen, Prana's direct market specialist, and I'm joined this week by Zach Thomas, writer of the new graphic novel, The Bible 2, Hail to the King of the Jews, baby. Zach, welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Good. So, Easter's just around the corner, and you're delivering a new gospel for comic fans across the country. Why don't you tell us the good word on The Bible 2?
Correct. Easter is coming, and it's the official sequel to the best-selling book of all time. And this book, The Bible 2, is about Jesus Christ, and he's not crucifying around. In fact, when he's not giving mass, he's kicking ass, putting the sin back into synagogue. So hail to the King of the Jews, baby. Now, now the book picks up immediately after the resurrection of Jesus, and the Romans are after him, but he's not quite ready to fight. So he goes into exile for about 1,000 years until a mysterious woman shows up at his doorstep in the mysterious far-off land of Utah. And it takes place during the fall of the Templar Knights.
So this is by far one of the wildest, most outrageous titles that I've ever seen. Where did this idea come from? How did this idea come to be?
Well, funnily enough, actually, it ended up coming out as a Grindhouse poster that I had made for the back of my first satire book called Abe the Aborted Fetus, Roe versus Abe. And I ended up hiring New York Times bestselling artist Amelia Wu from Mercy Thompson Homecoming with, I believe, Dynamite to do kind of a farcical image based on like a fresco painting. So Jesus is riding a dinosaur, specifically the Allosaurus, battling the Pope while it burns in the background. And that ended up being kind of the original cover for the book until too many people thought it was actually the real Bible. And so I kid you not. Um, so I ended up having the cover redone, which is why you now have Jesus riding the pink unicorn named Seraphim Sprinkleshits. And I don't know if your readers or the retailers know, but one of my first miracles for this book is actually that on the cover, the wings actually of the unicorn are going to be covered in glitter, but they shan't rub off. I used to work at a craft store, so I know.
So now let's talk about the audience. Who should be reading this book?
Anybody who's kind of got a good sense of humor can kind of laugh about anything, whether it's their faith, politics, just anything in general. It really kind of hits home for them. It's a farcical take on American politics, Americanized Christianity, uh, Judaism, atheism, everything. Nobody's safe. Nothing's off limits, but it's done in a way that if you're like a fan of The Boys, it's funny, but it's less raunchy. I would say Jesus in my book is kind of more of a celibate Duke Nukem meets Deadpool. So he's got a mouth. He's very sweary. He knows how to kick ass and really bring the fight. But it's not like over the top to where I think it's going to be overly offensive.
So is there anything else out there in the marketplace that does what the Bible 2 does?
I actually think the Bible 2 is kind of in a unique position, given that it's very, very heavy into, I would say, historical fiction. I rely heavily on historical events, kind of like the fall of the Templar Knight, the fall of the Vatican, the death of, certain religious or political figures during a specific time period. And I try to fit that story to kind of make it work. So I would say the closest books out there or anything in television would be Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I would say if you're kind of into the farcical comic stuff, I would say Robert Kirkman's Battle Pope or Tim Seeley's Loaded Bible.
Are there any last words that you'd like to share about the Bible too?
Well, I really want to just kind of say that I appreciate you guys for bringing me on here to talk about the book, and that I am currently working on the second volume. It's going to be called Double Crossed. And the third volume, which I'm currently scripting, is Come Get Psalm, Psalm. And, I just kind of want to say that it's been a crazy road, but I definitely want to thank everybody for giving this book a shot. The retailers, the distributors, the fans for making this thing go viral. This book had really no expectation that it would exist beyond, the initial launch. And the fact that it keeps garnering interest from people, I'm indebted and I'm beyond humble.
Great. Well, Zach, we're all very excited to see the Bible 2 come out, the official sequel to the best-selling book of all time. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And to our viewers, one last reminder that the Bible 2, published by SourcePoint Press, will be hitting stores in March. Retailers, look for it in the Prana Publishers section of your distributor catalog and on FOC this coming Monday. Take care.
Hi, my name is Adam Freeman. This is Comic Industry Insiders, a weekly podcast where we talk to the people who make comics run, the people that you can learn from, the people that you probably should be hiring. This week is something special. In fact, let's just take a moment. Readers, you see the cover of a comic. You see the splash page. You see the characters. What you don't see are the people who make that book actually work in ways that nobody really clocks until you know what you're looking for. The editor shaping the story before a single panel is final. The production designer catching mistakes that would cost us as publishers thousands at press, and making everything look that much better. The letterer controlling rhythm, tone, emotion, one balloon at a time. Today's panel, The Secret Weapons of Comics Publishing, is about the invisible craft behind every comic you love, and the professionals who protect those books from chaos. So let's meet them. Joe Keatinge, Oh, my brother, writer, editor, story architect. Joe understands the creative process from both sides, from all sides at this point, shaping narrative, guiding creators, making sure the vision survives contact with reality. Travis Escarfullery. Oh my God, Travis, I had never figured out how to pronounce your last name. Say it out loud for me.
Escarfullery.
That's what he said. Production designer, precision expert. Travis ensures that what's created digitally becomes something flawless in print. It becomes better than what you thought you were going to be getting. From file prep to final trim, he is the last line of defense before the presses roll and usually has the least amount of time of all of us. Taylor Esposito. Taylor, I got to tell you, is one of those people who has just refined what I think of as lettering. He's a pace setter, a performer on the page. Taylor shapes how readers hear the story, gives dialogue weight, clarity, and impact through the invisible art of lettering. These guys, they are the hidden infrastructure of comics publishing, the secret weapons. So let's pull them out of the tool bag and take a look. How you doing, boys?
Good. How are you?
How you doing?
It's good to be here. I've never made the jump to this side. I helped a little bit on the production, speaking of side of the Valentino interview, but besides that, now transitioned over from the live show to the recorded show. So it's good to be here.
For what is day one? What are the all right? I remember when I was in the fourth grade. I don't know. Whenever you learn the multiplication tables, and I remember my teacher saying, "All right, we're going to learn the multiplication tables, but right this second, I want you all to know 7 times 8 is 56. Everybody gets this wrong. It's the hardest one to learn, so you're just going to memorize it right now. 7 times 8 is 56, and I've never forgotten that." Do you have a 7 times 8 is 56 for new lettering students?
Sort of. So basically, I have this exercise I do where I'm like, all right, so everyone thinks they know what lettering is, you know, but it's like that thing of like, you know, when you describe something from memory, and like you're just giving kind of broad strokes. So like you don't really know what you're talking about because you don't really know what you're looking at. Like, you know, like how many of us really look at lettering? Like, well, besides me, because I'm insane. But how many of us really look at lettering and study like the shape of the balloons, how the text is laying out, right? Unless you're a letterer, you don't really notice, and you know, editors who are working with you. So I'll say to them, okay, describe a car to me, right? And they're like looking at me like, what are you talking about? I'm like, describe a car to me. What does it look like? I'm going to draw it on the board. So they'll say, well, it's this long metal box with doors and windows and 4 wheels and all this stuff. So I'll draw the most ridiculous thing possible, right? Like all the wheels are lined up in a row. It's like a regular door with like a window with like, you know,
like
the
panes of glass
between it and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, does this look like a car? And they're like, no. I'm like, yes, because you described the car, but you didn't give me details. You know, like this is what we're going to be doing at first. We're just going to kind of look at details. So like my first years, because I teach, depending on the year, I teach first, second, and third years or first and second years. But my first year class will always do like so much background before we even touch word balloons. It's like, we're going to study letterers who've done it before. We're going to study the difference between hand lettering and digital lettering. We're going to look at what lettering is supposed to do on the page. You know, like all this stuff. Like we're going to study Illustrator because like most of them come in not knowing how to use Adobe Illustrator. And it's a good like 6 months of just like supplemental information before we even put the first word in the word balloon. Because it's, you know, it's not that easy. Like, I'll say this as someone who taught myself how to do this with outdated texts about 10 years ago now. It's not easy, you know, and even when I first started working, you know, I was very lucky to work at DC, and I kind of learned a lot on the job. So I was getting feedback almost instantaneously, like, this is good, this is bad, this stuff. And, you know, I just take it and put it to practice now with 20 students at a time or so. But yeah, it's just a lot of, you know, learn the ins and outs before we even try to do something. Like anything else, you know, like you don't just start drawing hands, you study the drawings, you study statues, you know, you study pictures, that kind of thing.
Right.
That's my long-winded answer.
I love it. No, that's very good. I like that a lot. You gotta begin with the essentials, and I think there's something you're saying there that, if you don't mind, if I kind of reduce it down, which is that all of the skills of everybody here on this board, they are refined skills, right? There is the obvious, I'm going to draw, the old Scott McCloud, the guy with the top hat. I'm going to draw a guy with a top hat on. I'm going to draw the guy with the top. That's comics, right? We can all feel like we can do that. And there's something very almost seductive about this idea that, we can all do this, so it must be easy. Right. But everybody here, I know your refined skills over and over again are the things that have led to your expertise. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Travis, let's say I know that you worked with other designers, and I've actually worked with you when I worked at Valiant together, and you had a little design crew with you. What are the big things that is there a 7 times 8 equals 56 for like designers who are coming into comics, maybe from outside, or is there something, what are the things that you are looking for at the very beginning of a project?
As soon as I get the inks from the artist, I want to size it so that way it's same size for the colors and the letter. So that way, as soon as I get that thing back, it just snaps into place and we can just roll to get the book out the door. But that's the biggest thing. One of the other things is when I'm working with some of my clients, I'm telling them, please don't merge your colors with your letters, because then you get your 4-color letters and then you're going to run into a giant problem with the printer, because if some registration is off, your whole book is messed up. And then also on top of that, your letters aren't crisp. They're rasterized, so it's, they're kind of blurry and stuff like that. So you want them to be as sharp as possible. So those are like the 2 things. And also, I asked them, please, send us, Photoshop files or TIFFs, no JPEGs or PNG files.
You saved so many publishers so much money with just that 30 seconds. I hope they all took notes. Joe, we've worked with both of these gentlemen now for in some cases years at this point. Mm-hmm. What makes these two the best at what they do, and why are we working with them?
Well, I actually have a question I'd like to follow up with. Taylor, do you draw?
I haven't done it in years, but I did go to art school. So.
Yeah, you've got a background in art. I can tell that from your lettering. Just because, like for instance, I'll focus on, I'll address with both these guys. But with Taylor, I have never had or felt the inclination to do like lettering layouts, like lettering placements, like your eye for storytelling specifically. Like, it's not just let's put the letters on the page and let's make sure it's in the right order and whatever, it goes to the right guy. And I don't think I've expressed this to you, but it's when I look at, like, I'm looking at the proof today, one of the things that we're working on right now. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's not just, okay, it's going to the character Wheeler. It's the Wheeler is talking, but like, what is actually trying to be expressed here? What's the emotion of the thing? Like, where does it go on the panel plate? It's not just like, okay, there's a random place in the panel layout. Like, it's very methodical. Mm-hmm. And I could tell you draw because of that. So you have an understanding of comic book storytelling beyond just like, because I think a lot of people who try to do lettering on their own, don't hire a professional, aren't thinking that. It's just, I just need this to go here because this guy is saying hello to this guy, and I need to make sure that they're communicating. I don't get that she's stressed in this panel. Maybe I should make it small or whatever. Like, and with someone like Taylor, it makes everyone's job a lot easier because he knows storytelling.
Part of my lesson is also just the storytelling thing. It's like, it's not just enough to put it down. You have to direct people, guide them, like give that pause. Like the same way a sound designer builds tension, I'm trying to build tension or whatever I'm trying to build. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. With Travis, it's actually pretty similar. Like, I mean, Travis has such a varied background. Like, he's worked at Wizard, he's worked at Valiant, he's worked on comics. He was just sending me another project he did that was, I think it was like a box for, I don't want to say the publisher's name or whatever, but like it's all very, like, he's thinking methodically about the object that you're receiving. Like, we did this version, for instance, for The Future Is, technically it's the very similar book as the softcover version that Adam was showing earlier, but everything, any like little things, like the way, so this is a book that takes place in the world of the future world of cybersecurity is an element of it, and so there's a little bit of like coding on the back, right, that says like what issues are contained in here. Like, he thought of that, he had the wherewithal to think the like understand, okay, this is what the mission is, this is what the book is, how do I incorporate this, like what everything is telling us a larger story, you know, which if you're a new book is essential, right? Because there's so many I mean, Adam, you know better than any of us, like how many SKUs are out per week in a comic book store. How do you make a thing look distinct and professional, and how does it all tell part of the larger story? So, you know, both these guys, I mean, like, I credit a lot of the success the future is for a lot of the parts of the, you know, that people don't see. Like, we also like hired Ryan Hughes to do the logo, you know, and we have, this is not a single issue, but I think the principle still applies. Like, if you see this from across the store, you're like, I'm at least interested in learning more about it, you know, or like pretend this is a single issue. If I see this on the shelf, I may not be able to read it, but I can sure see it. You know, it's like, how many people are thinking that through?
Let's I want to take a quick hard right turn here and say that a lot of our audience, and we're building this as a panel that we can give at conventions, and we're going to be giving it next week at ComicsPRO, and when there we're going to be talking to comics retailers, right? So these are people who love comics. They've started their own stores, they sell the books, they are hand selling these books. And I can tell you from having been a judge, an Eisner judge, I was once in the room with this panel of other people, and we were having to come up with who are the nominees for the best letterer that year, and no one in the room knew anything about lettering. So they're like, I don't know, what's a good letterer? And I said, I can tell you what I think a good letterer is, and I pointed to Dave Sim, who's so emotional, and so he does such an incredibly good job of giving tone, but also comedy and all of the things that are well before he went a little bit nutso. But all this to say, I'd love to, Taylor, let's start with you. Mm-hmm. When you are showing someone what good lettering looks like, what are some of the what are the cheats? What are the cheats that you can use so that they know kind of, you know, this is what I can point to show that this is good versus that is, I mean, why does that not work? I don't know. It just doesn't work.
I will specify with, again, going back to the whole thing of like what you see versus what's there.
Yeah.
You know, because people always point to someone like Todd Klein. Like you look at Sandman. Because remember, Sandman, the only regular guy besides,
that guy.
Yeah, is Todd Klein. Every other person on that book switches from issue to issue. And Todd set so much of the tone of that book with his lettering. You know, this is Morpheus's lettering, this is Death's lettering, this is so-and-so, right? And it kind of helped keep a visual consistency, which is why, quick aside, whenever I'm starting a project, I will talk to either the editor or the writer or whoever, because communication is important, and I want to get an idea of what our goals are, what we're looking for, right? So we can have a visual consistency. Because if we do have, like on Future Is, we have a couple artists, so we're switching back and forth. That lettering is the anchor that keeps, you know, the reader like, oh, there is a change, but it's not affecting anything. You know what I mean? As I say, someone like Todd does all these crazy things, but he's Todd. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. You know, like it took me a long time to get the confidence to do those things, and part of it is you have to kind of learn. You know, you gotta make the mistakes and everything. So I will say that just because you do all these fancy tricks with your lettering doesn't necessarily make it good. I mean, you're showing off your tricks, and there's a talent there, but there's also the discernment. Like going back to what we were talking about, like you need to know when to use these tricks. You know, like, and one of my things I always tell everybody, you know, like I prefer a simpler style of lettering for the most part, because it makes the other things pop when you do it, you know. Another person I'll always bring up is John Workman. I mean, I think we all know John Workman. And he does stuff that breaks the rules constantly. But he's so intuitive about things that when he's breaking the rules, it works. Which brings me to another point of mine. Don't break the rules till you know the rules. But yeah, it's very difficult to kind of like pin that down. But the one thing I will say for sure is someone who is serving the story, you know? And that's kind of like my philosophy with everything. It's like, you have to serve the story. If I'm showing off for the sake of showing off, I'm not good anymore. If I'm doing what I need to do to serve the writing, the art, the overall arc of the story, now that's a good letterer.
Let's move on to something that I think a lot about, and I, as a publisher and as a marketer, I think, as Joe pointed out earlier, the trade dress of a book is, I mean, to my mind, I won't say it's more important than the story. I suppose you have to have a good story, whatever. But you have to have something that's going to sell in the environment of the shop, sell online. It has to serve a lot of masters, but it really must sell the book, because at the end of the day, we're a commercial medium. We're trying to make sell units. Travis, what is the difference between good trade dress and great trade dress? Like, what are the refinements that you see most people get wrong?
Usually it's also with the artwork, just completely blocking also logos. You're not seeing what the logos are. Actually, when it's on the shelf, issue number placement. So sometimes it's in the bottom corner. You don't see, what issue it is and stuff like that. When I'm laying out a cover, I usually will try to overlap, but not completely lock out the logo. I'll add some effects where you can actually see a transparency. You still see the logo, and it still makes it, visually appealing.
When you're refining something, have you ever stepped into a trade dress specifically? I want to talk about it. I know you do a lot of other interior design and a lot of, like you said, pre-press and that sort of thing. But when you're stepping in for a trade dress gig and somebody has already done, say, a first pass on it, what are the usually, is there a tweak that you look for that is almost always works?
If it hasn't been established yet with the trade dress, is the font that they use for the creators and stuff like that, is it legible? Is it, does it work with the logo and the artwork and the feel of the cover? Sometimes I'll suggest some options for fonts on the cover for the creator names. If they're overlaying, how clean is the overlay? Is the when they overlay a head or a hand or something over the logo, is it jaggedy and stuff like that? Just to make sure everything is clean.
Joe, why is Travis our go-to, especially when we start talking about trade dress? Because we deal with a lot of designers, but man, there's few people that we want to work with more than Travis when the time comes for that, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it applies to both Taylor and Travis. They don't give one specific, like, this is what I do, and it will work for every book. Yeah. Just to focus on Travis, but again, I would apply this to Taylor as well. Like, he gets what the mission is. The TFI is a very different book than, I'm not going to name your other clients, but I will just say, what is going to, and again, because of his background, working on a magazine, working on so many different kind of, the fact that he has the kind of brain, it's like, I can make an AR thing out of your store signing. It's like, if I say, it's that algorithm we were talking about earlier, like, here's the ask, here's what the client wants, here's what the story is. How do I apply it to the way it looks? Like I mentioned, the thing on the back of that hardcover, like, he didn't need to say, he could have just wrote, it contains issues 1 through 7, but he thought, like, okay, it's going to look like code, and that's going to apply to it. This was, and I should say, this was a limited edition hardcover. This was not going to the market. We did this for retailers and people on our Capture the Flag board. So the fact that he's thinking with that level of detail, it's like, that's great. And also, like, look, this applies to a lot of production designers I've worked with. Certainly when I was working at a publisher, like, saves the day. Taylor, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When, people took all of December off and are just catching up on, the things they need to catch up on. A really good, I mean, it's true though. And it's not just like, you're the last in line, but, like, again, because of their knowledge sets, like I was talking earlier, like, Taylor's a guy I don't have to do lettering placement for. He just knows it. He gets it. He gets it better than I do. His storytelling instincts with the lettering placement is better than mine. So hire people who are better than you at the things that you need to have done, and it'll work out a lot easier for you. Your book is competing with dozens upon dozens of other titles every week, possibly hundreds per month. Adam, again, the numbers better than I do. If nobody knows who you are, like, I don't care if it's your dream, right? Like, TFI is our, like, I really feel invested in this book. It's our dream, right? To make this book a success. But nobody cares. Like, they're working hard all day, and then they go to the comic book store, and she's been, working the 12-hour shift, and she just wants to go to the store and buy a book. Like, it's up to you to communicate to her why your book is the thing that she should get in addition to Absolute Wonder Woman or whatever, or Absolute Batman or whatever the top book is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Why does your thing stand out?
Yeah.
And again, it may cost you more, and it does. Good talent costs more. But, okay, well, what's your long-term investment going to be?
Awesome. I think we've wrung you gentlemen dry, and I know we've taken up too much of your workday. Let's go around the room, and if you want to just give us how can people find you, and what would you like them to do with that? But also, one of the things I like asking is, what is a call to action for our audience? Most of our, the literal dozens of people who watch these videos are people often in comics or in the comics industry, or they're curious about starting a career in comics. So what is like one thing you would, if you could have them do, that'd be great. Travis, if you don't mind, let's start with you. Where can people find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn, under Travis Escarfullery. Also, I'm on Instagram at Travis_Escar. And as far as for anybody starting out in comics, as far as production wise, is just make sure you start off right with your files. TIFFs and Photoshop files, stay away from, JPEG logos and pings. Also just make sure it's, CMYK, not RGB or using spot colors. But that's the most thing, is just making sure your files are set right. And then from there, it's just less problems down the line.
I love that you gave us something so actionable here at the end. That's a sign of a pro. Taylor, where can people find you, and what would you like them to do?
So for me, I'm pulling back from social media, but you can always find me on Instagram at Ghostglyph, Blue Sky at Taylor Esposito. Or you can just go to my website, Ghostglyph Studios, and just email me directly, honestly. Building off of what Travis said, just get everything right, make sure it's all set to go, so I can just dive in with you, we don't need much, we just need everything right, and then we can just make magic, that kind of thing.
and everything's not so serious.
That felt pointed. Okay, Joe, who are you? And what would you like to ask?
Well, in terms of finding me, it's increasingly difficult by design. I am on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram, but I don't look at it. I mean, I'll comicsthemagazine.com is probably the best place to go in terms of what we got going on. In terms of the one thing, make brave work that you are passionate about. That's the thing. Don't worry about what's the market going to do. I'm not promising you financial success with that, but I'm promising you that if you focus too much on what the market wants, you will fail. And if Robert Kirkman just looked at what the market wanted at the time that he was doing Walking Dead or Invincible, they wouldn't have done Walking Dead or Invincible. You know what I mean? We're I was thinking we're running the thing in Comics and Magazine about Night Eaters by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda, and it's I don't know how you describe that book in a sentence, but it's so wild and so good that it's that's why it's a hit. They created something they're passionate about and utilized their craft to the highest degree, and they're making a cool thing. So yeah, make good work bravely, I think is the most important thing you can do.
That sounds like a t-shirt. Hey, let's go make some merch. Awesome. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to working with all of you probably tomorrow.
Brother, we've got stuff I need you to respond to right now.
That's right.
Which means I'll be getting an email soon.
Yeah. I legitimately, while we've been talking, Joe has given me 2 different Discord texts. They're like, Adam, this needs your approval. I'm busy. All right. And you know it. Yeah. Anyway, once again, Adam Freeman, Comic Industry Insiders. And if you see this panel at a convention, just know that you just saw it conceived. So congratulations. Thank you, guys. Namaste.